So I've spent thousands of dollars on lifetime deals for software over on AppSumo.com. And in today's video, I'm going to be reviewing all 37 of them, and I'm going to be putting them on this tier list over here. My tier list goes from super down to great, down to good, and then finally down to average, and then not for me. If you don't know what AppSumo is, it's basically like Amazon, but for digital products. So you know how Amazon is called the everything store? Well, I kind of think of AppSumo as the digital everything store, right? They have lifetime deals, 1-year deals for software. They have courses and templates and so much more over there. I've been a customer of them and an affiliate of them for a little while now, and I've even reviewed some of their apps individually here on the channel more in depth. Komodo, which is a Loom alternative, Tidycal, which is a one-time purchase of $29, and it's basically everything that Calendly does. And I also reviewed Tab Extend on the channel, which is a great bookmark manager that you can use within your Chrome browser. I've also done tutorials for some of the software that they've put out on AppSumo, such as Tascade and StackBuy. So why do I purchase software from AppSumo? I've had a couple people on my videos say that it's a waste of money and it's a scam or whatever they have to say about it. And to be honest, I have come across a few apps that I didn't care for. And for those apps, I submitted a refund. It was really quick, it was easy, and I just moved on with my life. But I would like to share why I purchase apps from AppSumo so that you guys understand my strategizing and thinking behind it. The first reason is I'm investing in the founders, right? So a lot of times these are 1 or 2 person teams that come out with these softwares and they're in their beta version and they have big ambitious plans for the software in the future, right? They might be the next Notion or the next ClickUp. That's the way that I look at it. So I'm investing early in the founders and supporting them when they are at that stage in their company where they're just trying to get their first few customers. The second reason is I like building a toolbox. I'm the same way in real life. If I ever do a job, I just buy the tool so that I have it for the future, and I might never use it again, but at least I have the tool. That's just kind of how I am. So that's what I like to do with software. And if I have a thought in my head for a way that I might use a software in the future, I add it to my toolbox and I buy a lifetime deal. The third reason that I buy lifetime deals from AppSumo is because sometimes you can find really, really good low-cost lifetime deals for software that would normally cost you a yearly or monthly fee. I replaced Calendly with Tidycal. I've replaced Loom with Komodo Decks. And over time, if you run a digital business, this can save you a lot of money if you have monthly or yearly software subscriptions. The fourth reason is they have an amazing refund policy. So there have been a select few times where I've had to get a refund for an app, and it's just a super quick and easy process to do that. I have no problem testing an app out if I know I can get a refund if it just turns out being, not so good. Now, the fifth reason that I purchase apps from AppSumo is because they have an amazing affiliate program. So if I want to promote an app, they're going to give me a small kickback for whatever I send their way in terms of traffic and sales. That leads me to the affiliate disclaimer for this video. So I am an affiliate of AppSumo. They didn't pay me to create this video, but they will pay me if you use the links below and you purchase software from AppSumo. So if you do want to purchase the software from AppSumo, you can use the links below, but just know they will give me a small kickback for whatever I send their way in terms of customers and transactions. Now, before jumping into this tier list, I just have to say that these are just my opinions, and I respect all the entrepreneurs who offered their lifetime deals for their products on AppSumo. Just because my ranking might not be very high, it doesn't mean that the app isn't worth checking out. It might work great for your use case. It's also important to note that some of these deals are expired right now, and some of them may be expired in the future. Tool number 1 is called Attention Insights, and this tool allows you to get a heat map of your web designs. So if you're a designer and you want to see where the attention on your page is going to go, this is a very neat use of artificial intelligence to figure out where people's eyes are going to go before you even launch your website or you have any users. So as you can see, it has this nice little heat map that shows you where people's eyes are going to go. Tool also gives you a clarity score, which I found to be quite useful when I was using this. and they had a few different deals where they allowed you 100 designs per month, 200 designs per month, or 400 designs per month. Now, one of the reasons that I purchased Attention Insights is because I have web development clients and I like to add as much value as possible when I'm designing a website for them. So adding in this nice little touch where I give them the AI heat map for their website design was just a pleasant way to kind of hand off their website when we were first testing it out. So for me, Attention Insights gets a great. All right, now let's look at the next app, and that is Switchy.io. And Switchy is a great link shortener that allows you to do custom retargeting with their links. That is a feature that I haven't tested out yet. You may have seen that I've used Switchy a few times in my YouTube video descriptions, and all in all, it does what it says it's going to do. It creates a shortened version of your links, and it allows you to track your different links that you have available. On top of that, it also lets you create link trees like this here. It's showing you an example. I haven't used it for this particularly, but I think that's pretty cool. So they have 3 plans that you can choose from: the single, double, or multiple, and you can add more codes if you want even more clicks or custom domains available. They also have increased amount of smart pages and team members as you go up. For me, Switchy gets a great tier. Now, my reason for giving Switchy a great tier is that it pretty much does everything that you need it to. It does a lot that other link shorteners that you might pay for on a monthly basis don't even do, such as link tracking, and it also allows you to create those awesome link tree pages. So I really like the tool, and they are having a Black Friday deal right now, so it might be a good time to pick up Switchy. The next tool I'm reviewing is called Volley, and Volley allows you to get visual feedback for your website designs. So again, another web developer tool. And it's unfortunate that this one has run out because I really like Volley, and it saved me a ton of money when I purchased this lifetime deal because I was using a paid tool called Pastel before I picked up Volley. And when I first purchased this app, I was a little bit underwhelmed. And the reason for that wasn't because the app wasn't amazing. It was doing everything that I needed it to do, but it just wasn't as clean on the client side. But I have to say, over time, I was actually in a back and forth with the founder of Volley, and I was really impressed with the improvements and the additions that they added. And the founder even personally reached out to me and told me when they were doing updates to Volley so that I was up to date with the different things that they were adding. And he even took some of my own feedback that I had given to him. So I really appreciated the hard work by the founder, and I was really happy to get my hands on a lifetime deal for Volley. It became a staple, and it wasn't a staple when I first got it. But I was really impressed with Volley because they started out as kind of like an average tier, and they moved their way up to a great tier or maybe even an S tier. So if you're a web developer, this tool is a no-brainer. It allows your customers to basically leave comments anywhere on your website. As you can see right here, there's this green dot signifying that the user left a comment here. And it just says, let's make this hero image slightly larger. I've attached a mock-up here, and it allows them to upload that image that they want and show you what they want. And then it allows you guys to kind of have a back and forth here on any sort of website revisions that need to be made. So this saves a lot of time. And again, it adds value for my clients, which is something that I love. And that's why I give Volley a ranking of great. The next tool that I'm jumping into is called Wave.Video. And this is basically a video editor, video hosting, and an animator all in one. So I have to say that I didn't really use this to its full potential because I don't really particularly need all of the features that Wave had to offer. But I mainly used it as a video hosting service where I uploaded videos and I was able to show them on my website in a specific way. I could brand them with the colors that I wanted to and whatnot. It was pretty good for video hosting. Now, I will say that the editor for Wave.Video seem to be a bit slow, but that might just be because I'm used to using offline editors like Adobe Premiere and Final Cut. And it's honestly a great tool if you're doing something DIY and you're not doing a ton of editing. But When I used it, I personally didn't really care for the editor. So I would say Wave.Video is pretty good. It does look like they have a ton of features that I actually haven't really tried out. So I probably should try it out a bit more. As you can see here, it's basically like Canva, but for video. So that's pretty neat. And they even have like a converter and things like that. So they've got two plans here, the creator plan and the business plan. And overall, this was a pretty good deal for video hosting, but it's not the video hosting solution that I use still today. So this wouldn't be my first choice, but it's still a great app. All right, so the gray area is getting a bit overcrowded, but I'm actually going to be giving Wave.Video an average. And I don't know if they've improved the app now, but I just remember the editor being kind of slow, but you know, the video hosting was nice and you could make a pretty neat video player for your websites and things like that. Now we move on to ClientJoy. This is a fun one. So ClientJoy is this all-in-one tool that allows you to manage leads, proposals, invoices, and clients, and it brings it all into one nice, beautiful dashboard. Now, as you can see here, their lifetime deal has ended, but for those of you who are interested in this one, you're in luck because they are having a Black Friday deal where they're doing a 1 year for $200. And like I said, I was really lucky to get the lifetime deal here. But this one would still be good to pick up even for the yearly, I think. So ClientJoy is one of those tools that is aiming to be an all-in-one. And typically when you're trying to be an all-in-one, it can be very challenging to get everything right. But I think they did fairly well. And I do have a few gripes, but I'll go over those in a minute. I just want to say overall, it's a pretty great app. It allows you to keep track of your leads, which I think is great. It gives you that nice Kanban view. And then it differentiates leads from customers, which is also nice. It gives you these custom proposals that are dynamic based on the client. So it saves a ton of time when you're trying to create proposals. And it even allows you to send out invoices and get paid. And then the dashboard is beautiful. So if you're fully utilizing this, you can get a really good idea of how your business is doing and where you're at in terms of your pipeline. Now, this is the plan that they have up right now. It's 5 users, and I think that's pretty good if you have a small team. And it's also nice that they give you unlimited clients that you can put in here, unlimited invoices and active proposals, and then unlimited leads, online collections, reports, and analytics. Now, one of the other things I really like about ClientJoy is you can make it look like your own software, right? So they have this sort of white label option and this custom branding option where you can assign it to your own website domain. So for me, if I wanted to, I could open up ClientJoy on productivedude.com and I could put our branding and stuff like that all over it and make it look like our own in-house software, which is pretty neat. Now, I really applaud these guys for being a lifetime deal at one time, but one of the things that was kind of challenging for me when I was picking it up is the overall speed. I loaded about 20 clients into here and it just wasn't loading all that fast. That doesn't mean that they haven't improved things because I got in quite early and I know that they've added features now. And obviously the software is up to a point now where they feel a little bit more comfortable because they're charging a lot more and they're charging for just a year now. So I feel like they've probably improved and I know that they had quite the roadmap ahead of them. But for me, ClientJoy gets a good. And for being an all-in-one tool, it does a really good job. So kudos to them. This next tool is a replacement for things like Sprout Social, Hootsuite, and Buffer. These are apps that allow you to schedule out your social media posts across all of your different social media platforms. So if you have lots of clients or you just have a large portfolio of social medias that you post to yourself, then Publer might be a good app for you. So here it says it allows you to create, schedule, and analyze all of your social media posts. As you can see here, you can change the text that you want to display for different social media platforms. You can change how it looks, and you can kind of just divvy up all of your posts and schedule them in one fell swoop. They also allow this follow-up comment option, which I think is pretty cool. It just goes the extra mile and allows you to put a comment below if you want to write something that's not necessarily appropriate for your description. Even the base package, the single package here, allowed 30 social accounts, which I think is pretty good. Even if you do have an agency or a small team, You know, you could put quite a few clients in here if each of them has like 2 or 3 social media platforms. And I think 3 team members is a pretty good deal for the single plan as well. This app is pretty straightforward. It does pretty much what you would expect a social media posting app to do. And the people in the comments here on the reviews really loved this app. They gave it lots of love. And look at this. They say, no more AppSumo for Publer. It was a one-time thing. I'm sorry. That is too bad. But they do give some ideas for how to save on regular plans. Man, that gives me a little bit of FOMO, honestly, when I'm reading that. But this is a great app. We still use it for our clients. And that's why I'm going to be giving Publer our first super. Very well put together, and I'm glad that I picked it up. Next up, we have Nifty, a project management tool. So Nifty is a very well put together tool. I didn't personally spend a ton of time using it, but I did want to pick up a lifetime deal for this one just to shelf it in case I wanted to use it with my team in the future. And it kind of brings your communication app, collaboration, and your project management app all into a single platform. Now, one thing I will say is it was a little bit overwhelming to use. It didn't feel like a blank canvas. It sort of felt like they were kind of forcing you down a path a little bit, but that could have just been me. And this isn't an app, like I said, that I've really got to use a lot. It's just more so one that I wanted to pick up. And I don't know much about it, to be honest. I've only used it a little bit. But it's kind of like bringing Slack and your project management app into one place. And it feels very unique. You know, it's got its own feel to it. It's got some neat integrations. It integrates with Zoom and Slack, Google Drive, Google Calendar, and Airtable. And they call it an alternative to Asana, ClickUp, and Jira. When I was using it, it didn't feel buggy. It felt pretty quick. It felt really clean. I liked the UI. Not really much else to say about Nifty, at least for me. I feel like this one could really go in the great or super tier for certain people, but for me, it's got to stay in good because I simply haven't used it enough and it didn't entice me enough to keep using it when I was on it. You know, I'm still using ClickUp and Notion. And that's part of the reason that I didn't fully switch over to ClientJoy as well, because I kind of just felt like I was gated into the current softwares I was already using. Like I just felt comfortable with them. Even if I was paying a small monthly subscription for them, I just felt like the work of switching over would be too much after moving here. So something that these apps might benefit from is maybe having an import option. Because I know for ClientJoy, I'd probably be doing everything there if I didn't feel like it was a little bit slow and I wasn't worried about losing some of my monthly recurring revenue from switching over all my payments to ClientJoy. You know, my invoicing software that I use, Simple Invoices, costs me $10 per month, but I have always used it and my clients have liked it and it's always worked. So I don't really want to make that switch. I don't want to make that jump. But if you're like fresh starting out, some of these softwares might be better. The next one that we're looking at here is called Deposit Photos. And this one actually wasn't a lifetime deal. Now that I'm looking at it, I just realized that I actually purchased it as a certain amount of photos that you get, a certain amount of stock photos. And the stock photos were actually pretty good. Let's talk about it some more. So it looks like Deposit Photos is actually still running some AppSumo deals right now, but they end in 7 days. So they're pretty much just running a sale for Black Friday, it looks like. Let's see what they give you. So they do have some pretty sweet stock photos. The first thing that I look at with a stock photo website is what are the terms like of the license? Are they allowing you to use the image commercially without giving credit? Or are they basically making it so that you have to give credit for the image, which is totally fine. But if you're going to pay for the image, you know, you should be able to use it commercially. And that's just my opinion. So in this case, they do allow you to use their images without attribution. In this circumstance, at least for the plan that I got, you'll have to read your terms for the plan that you get. But it looks like they have credits that never expire, which is pretty nice. And they offer unlimited stacking, so you can get as many of these images as you want. And I think I went with a single deal here that allows you 100 photo/vector downloads. And they've got almost 200 million images to choose from, which is quite a few. I think that's pretty good. And I've actually used a few of their images on some client projects. So I think that overall, it worked out good, you know, and I was able to get a pretty good bang for my buck, considering that if you went with something like Adobe stock, it's up to $75 per month or more just to get a few images per month. Deposit Photos, for me, gets a great. Now, I will say their selection isn't as good as something like Adobe stock, but it's definitely better than some of the free alternatives like Unsplash or Pexels, which are also really good, but I think it's like a good middle ground for stock photos. And I've seen them running AppSumo deals quite a few times. So if you ever need stock photos, definitely go look on AppSumo as some of those stock photo providers. The thing is, though, is they don't have video. They do have photo and vector, which is nice. But even some free tools like Pexels have royalty-free video you can use. So I might have to move them to good. I think it's a really good deal for stock photos. Don't get me wrong. I really do think it's a good deal. But I think I might be giving them a little bit too much credit in the great category. So let's just leave it at good. I definitely think it's useful, and I've used it for some of my clients. So don't get the wrong idea here. If you need good photos, you can probably find them on Deposit Photos. Moving on to our next AppSumo deal, and that is called Provenly. So Provenly allows you to put all of this information into a Google spreadsheet, and then it allows you to connect that spreadsheet to your website. So you have these little social proof pop-ups. They say different things like basically the reviews or who's bought your products. And I think that they're onto something with this. You know, I think that it seems like a really good app, and that's why I purchased it to begin with. But when I used it, I just didn't love it. You know, it didn't allow enough customization at the time for me. And it also didn't really show up that responsively on my website, because I was actually trying to like put some longer reviews in there, and they just didn't show up all the way. They didn't look the greatest. So for me, I like the idea. I like the ease of, you know, having something in a Google Sheet and having it automatically pop up on your website as that gets updated. I think it's a great idea. But for this one, I was a little disappointed, to be honest. The quality just wasn't really there for me. It looks like there's a lot of people that would disagree with me. There's 19 reviews, and it has an average of nearly 5 tacos, which is a pretty good score on AppSumo. But from using it myself, I didn't love it. That's why I am giving Provenly a not for me. Now, I have no disrespect to the founders. I think that it's probably a good app for some people, and you guys got to see firsthand what it does. It might work for you. Give it a shot. If you don't like it, you know, you can get a refund. Now we move on to the next tool, and that is MyChordBook. So MyChordBook is basically a tool that allows you to see your chords as you're playing guitar. So this is a pretty cool app, and I did use it a couple times when I first purchased it. I think they offer a piano option too. And if I remember right, the reason I got this is my girlfriend and I were really on a big instrument kick for a little while. And I was playing guitar, she was playing piano, and we both were, you know, trying to learn and get better. So MyChordBook came in handy, and it allows you to kind of play along and read the chords as you go with these different instruments. Yeah, so as you can see, it allows interactive chord and lyrics for guitar, piano, and ukulele players. So this was a pretty cool tool. I didn't use it a whole lot, but I enjoyed this deal that I ended up getting from AppSumo. So overall, MyChordBook was a pretty cool tool if you're trying to play along with your guitar or your piano. And I would put it in the average tier, and that's just because, you know, I didn't really use it for business. So it doesn't necessarily fit my criteria for purchasing a product on AppSumo, but it did its job. It was really good, and I don't think they have anything wrong with them. So if you're a musician, try it out. The next tool that I'm going to jump into here is called PureBoard. And PureBoard allows you to bring your community into one centralized place. And it's kind of nice because a lot of people rely on things like Facebook groups or Discord to have their own community. But with PureBoard, you can create your own white label community that looks like your own proprietary software if you have their white label option. So I really like the idea of PureBoard. Again, I haven't really used this one. This one's kind of a speculative bet for me. I picked it up because I wanted to try it out, so I don't have much to say, unfortunately. You know, I can't really rate this 100%, but I have like just played around with it a tad bit and I've looked at the features. And to me, it seems like it would be a great tool once that time comes when I want to use it. It allows you to create these different threads, different categories to sort of categorize things, I guess. And it allows you to white label and even remove their branding if you get the double plan. Overall, I think it's a really cool idea, and this is just one that I picked up and I hope to use it in the future. Maybe I'll use it with you guys here on this YouTube channel. I feel like right now it's appropriate to give Peerboard a good, but honestly, guys, you'd have to try this one out for yourself. Go to AppSumo, read the reviews, see what you think, because I don't know. I mean, I can't really rate this one if I haven't used it. Maybe check it out for yourself. The next one that we're looking at is called Backup Guard. And Backup Guard is a simple plugin. You install it on your WordPress website and it allows you to back up tons of websites. So again, this is because I'm a web developer that I purchased this particular deal. And I think that it works great. You know, if our hosting company that we're using doesn't allow backups natively, then we usually use Backup Guard for our website maintenance, and it does a really good job of automating backups. One of the things I will say is if there's a massive website, sometimes it doesn't download the site and it doesn't work as well with certain hosting platforms. But I would say it works pretty good 90% of the time, and it fills in the gaps where we need it. One of the other things that I like is they aren't trying to be a bunch of different things. It's just a very simple backup software. And the other thing I like about this is it allows you to automatically send your backups to the cloud. So you can have the backup sent to Google Drive. That's what we do. Or you can put them in an S3 bucket or your OneDrive, Dropbox. It also has FTP and SFTP so that you can save them on your own server. And I believe I got a different plan that was like a lifetime deal. This is an annual plan that only allows 5 websites, but I think we got unlimited websites on our deal. So I'm really glad that I got that. And I'm glad that we, got a chance to pick it up. As I said, sometimes it's a bit shoddy, and honestly, I would be putting this in like good or average if I wasn't such a fanboy, but I really like this software and it's came in handy for us and we use it a lot more than some of these other platforms. So that's why I'm going to give it a great. This next software is a Grammarly alternative. So you may have seen ads on YouTube that are like Grammarly ads. I think that they do post quite a bit of those up around YouTube on their pre-roll ads. And it's basically a software that you put into your browser, and then it does auto corrections and it gives you tips for improving your content or your writing. Overall, I like it. I don't always have it enabled because it can get kind of annoying seeing the suggestions pop up, and sometimes you don't necessarily want that. But if I am trying to focus on writing something in a specific tone, it can be kind of nice to tell me like what the tone of that writing is. And just like any other AI tool, it's not perfect. It's definitely a good crutch to kind of use as you're writing. They have their own word editor that you can write in, and it's super clean and simple. I don't personally use that a lot. I use it more for email, which I think is really nice. It gives you this little indicator down at the bottom that tells you if you have any spelling errors. I will say, although this is a Grammarly alternative, I don't know that it gets up to par with some of the things that Grammarly can do and the quality at which Grammarly does them. So if you're just looking for a simple autocorrect tool that basically just helps you within your browser and you don't want to spend all the money on Grammarly, or you don't want to use Grammarly's free version, then I recommend trying this one out because it's pretty good. I'm going to give Linguix a good. This next app has saved us a ton of money on email marketing subscriptions. So for sending out mass emails, like some of you guys are on our email list and we'll send out an email to you. This tool is great for that. It's a really simple tool that allows you to automate different email marketing campaigns, and it does all kinds of things. You can create these flows with it, but we just use it for sending out basic emails to our list of people that have signed up for our email list. And it does a really good job for that. My only gripe is that we ended up purchasing the license tier 1, which only allows 5,000 subscribers. And my only thing that I wish is that I would have went a little bit higher with this, because we've exceeded our amount of subscribers that we're allowed to have. So unfortunately, since we've exceeded that 5,000 subscriber number, we are at a stage where we're going to have to look for a different software if we want to keep emailing everybody on our list. But this does a great job. It was a really good deal for the money, because honestly, there are a lot of tools out there that do these things, but they're very expensive, and you'd have to pay a monthly subscription a lot of the times if you didn't have something like Encharge. Encharge is still something that we use every day, and my only wish is that I would have bought more codes. So I have to say that this is our second super for the day. The next lifetime deal that we're cracking into is called Brindle Booking, and it's actually a WordPress app or a WordPress plugin that allows you to set up booking on websites. And the reason that I bought this one is originally I was going to try to use it for our own booking software, but it was a little bit much. It was a little bit more than I needed, and it was a little bit harder to set up than some of the other booking apps that I'm going to go over a little bit later in this video. Now, I will say that I will probably still use this at some point for a client website, because I think that, it can do a lot of cool things. There's just a lot of setup involved, and I don't know if I can make it look quite how I want it to look. I haven't really tried a whole lot with this. I've only used it a little bit, so I can't say for sure if it's, a super good app, but it does have pretty good reviews here on AppSumo, and it does a lot of the things that you would want a booking app to do. They allow paid booking. They allow Zoom meetings that get generated. They allow you to link it up with your Google Calendar. One of the other nice things that some other booking apps don't allow is custom email notifications. They have this cute little dog as their logo, so that's a plus, I guess. So Brindle, for me, guys, I don't know. It could be better, but I think for me right now, it's going to go in average, just because, there are just other booking apps that I would choose from. It's not that this isn't a good app or a great app. It could be. I just haven't used it enough, and my first impression was that it was a little bit difficult to use, and it didn't feel seamless to me. A lot of times I think that you just want to have a really easy to use app, and I'm not saying that this won't potentially come in handy in the future for a client website or something like that, but it's not the booking app that we use today. So this one's kind of on the back burner for now. It's kind of on the shelf until we find a use for it. And this is where I parlay into the next app that I purchased right after Brindle, which is Tidycal. Now, this one is an AppSumo original. So this is something that AppSumo put out, and it's a lifetime deal that they have had up for a long time now. So this one probably won't go away anytime soon, at least I don't think. And guys, this is probably one of the best ones on the list. Not because it's like a super robust application or anything like that, but it does that thing very well, right? It allows you to put your schedule out and make it available to people, and allows you to take paid calls. It allows people to book calls with you, and then that will go directly into your Google Calendar. So this one is a really good deal, guys. It's a one-time purchase of $29, and this is going to save you a ton of money if you're using something like Calendly right now. And overall, I just think that it's very well put together, solid app. It does what you would expect it to. Allows you to link up with your Google Calendar, Outlook, or your Apple Calendar. It allows you to put a booking widget on your website. The only thing I will say is it doesn't give you much visual customization, but a lot of these booking tools really don't. You have to trade the visual customization for, a lot of times just a hard to use app. So I think that for the price and for what it does, this does everything it needs to, and it does it very well. For me, Tidycal is an S tier. It gets a super. I gotta say, it's a great app. I actually did a video on this, like talking about how to use it, and I reviewed it versus Calendly. So definitely check out that video if you want. I'll have a link up in the corner of this video. The next app that we're looking at is called Pixelied, and this is somewhat of a Canva alternative, I think is what they were going for. It could also be seen as a Photoshop alternative, although it doesn't have all the features that Photoshop has. You guys are going to find that with these design and video editing softwares that I picked up, I mainly picked them up for employees to use, or people who are on our team that don't necessarily have the design knowledge, but we want them to be able to quickly create graphics. And that's why I picked them up. I didn't pick them up for myself necessarily. So a lot of these tools that are for like video editing or photo editing or design that I picked up on AppSumo, they're a bit underwhelming to me, to be honest. But jumping into Pixelied here, it allows you to create graphics, gives you some ready-made templates. It's an alternative to Canva, PicMonkey, and Venngage. It's a pretty neat platform, and I used it a bit, but to be honest, it felt a little bit cumbersome. It might be because I'm used to Photoshop. It didn't feel quite as good as Canva, to be honest. I used it to create some ads for a client of mine at one time, and as you can see, it can do some pretty cool stuff, right? Like you can customize the colors of these different illustrations in a lot of different ways. I'm sure if I dug into it, I might feel a little bit different about it. They had a few different plans that you could choose from here. 5 workspaces, 10 workspaces, or 25 workspaces. And they offer these background removal credits. But honestly, this is something that a lot of softwares just offer for free now. I mean, you can do background removal on the newer iPhones, and it's just like a built-in feature. And I'm actually going to review a background removal tool that I picked up on AppSumo that lets you do unlimited background removal. So I don't know if this is really a huge selling point for me that they have background removal. I guess it's nice that it's built in though. I have to be honest here, guys. This got 5 tacos on AppSumo, but Pixelied was not for me. It really wasn't, you know, it didn't really make me feel good about the purchase. And that's not because it didn't do what it said. It just felt a little bit cumbersome, and I felt like I had better tools that I like to use better. The next tool that we're going to jump into is called Nichesss. This is an AI writing tool that's basically an assistant for creating Facebook ads, creating headlines, creating descriptions for your products, just to name a few things. They have a bunch of AI templates that you can use. It looks like they also offer AI images now. You can generate 15 images per month with DALL-E 2. So the thing that I like about this app is they're always adding new things. The owner has been hard at work on this software and has been constantly adding new things. It didn't even have images when I first picked it up. And I don't know if I have images now after buying the lifetime deal. But I picked this up a little while back, and I've used it quite a few times to just give me ideas for content. Overall, I think Nichesss is one of the better AI writing tools that you can find on the market. There's a ton of them on AppSumo, but I think Nichesss is really unique. It does a good job of giving you all the tools that you need. There's really not much more to say. It's a good tool. For me, Nichesss belongs in the great category. This next tool has been through quite a few iterations, and the founder is really what this software is all about. Him and his team have put a ton of work into this and have just built an immaculate community, and that tool is Plutio. This is one that I've recommended to a few friends who are freelancers, and it's similar to ClientJoy in that it's trying to be an all-in-one place for you to essentially keep track of your clients, your pipeline, send proposals, send invoices, and you can really build your own custom workspace with Plutio. So it's really nice, guys. Again, like a lot of the other tools that I purchased in the past, it's white label, so you can make it look how you want it to look in terms of your colors and all of that. One thing that I will say about Plutio is with the freedom that you get with it and all the amazing things that you can do and the real custom feel that it has, also comes a lot of complexity, and also comes some bugs and some issues with speed at times. But what I found is these guys built really fast. They were really scrappy with the way that they designed this thing, and eventually they kind of got a good idea of what people liked and what people were using in their software. So their team is very hardworking. They've got a few different plans here. Leo is the founder, and they have their own platforms like their Facebook group and their YouTube channel, where they go over a lot of different features within Plutio. They give updates, and you can read the reviews down here and the questions that people have about it. This software is one that's evolving over time, and it's kind of like one of those that I just picked up because I figured, maybe this will be the next ClickUp or the next Notion. That's kind of the feeling that I get from it. It feels like it could be one of those staple softwares that people are talking about for years to come. By no means is Plutio perfect, but I think that they're working towards the right direction. They're working towards becoming that all-in-one app, and they're setting out on a very ambitious journey. So for me, this one's somewhere between super and great. I think I have to move it to great because I don't use the software a whole lot anymore. I'm kind of, again, shelving this one because I think I might use it in the future, and I believe in the founders. I think it's a great software, but for me, it belongs in great for right now. This next app is called Lovo, and Lovo allows you to basically type anything out, and then you get to choose which AI voice you want to read it out loud. So you can basically dub over videos with an AI voice, which is pretty neat. And one of the features that really intrigued me about Lovo was you can create your own AI voice. So it allows you to answer a bunch of questions in your voice. So I would just talk into my microphone like I'm doing now, and then it would create a voice for me so that I could type anything out, and then it would basically say what I'm saying, and you could get that audio file. It's pretty amazing technology, but I will say that it's not perfect yet. And for instance, when I tried to do my voice, it was good. It might have even been great, but it wasn't necessarily like that super clear, crisp quality. But I think they're setting out to do something that's very ambitious, and I think that this app can be very useful for people that are running YouTube channels, like faceless YouTube channels, where they have just a voice going over the clips. I think it could be really useful for a lot of things, maybe even like running ads if you wanted to put an AI voice over your ad, product demos, things like that. It says here that it's best for marketers, e-learning course creators, YouTubers who need voiceovers for videos or training. And I think it did a great job. It's an alternative to Google WaveNet and Amazon Poly, which are two like huge companies, right? So they're going up against, these gorillas, these huge companies. So if you take a look here, they have all these different voice skins, and they sort them out based on the age of the voice actor, what it's good for. Like it might be good for explainer videos or ads, and it'll say that. It also sorts it out by gender so that you can get a wide range of voices. Some of them have accents, some of them don't. Lovo is a really cool app. I'm glad I got my hands on it, and that's why it belongs in the great category. The next app I want to look at is one that I use every day. And that's actually uncommon, believe it or not, for a lot of these apps. They're usually for like a one-time use case, and some of them I use quite a bit, but I can't say that there's one that I've used every single day since I purchased it, other than this app, I'm pretty sure. And that is Mailman. So Mailman is basically an email screener. And similar to Tidycal, it's one of those tools that just does one thing really, really well. I sometimes wish that they had a few more features. Like there are some things that I think that they could add that would make it even better, but it just does a really good job of screening out emails that you don't want to read. And then you can kind of go in and choose what gets through, and you can block the things that you don't want to see ever again. So the nice thing about this is it has like this do not disturb mode where it catches all your emails and it doesn't send them all out to you until you ask it to, unless they're on what's called the VIP list. Those emails get through right away. But with this screener, you can save time. You can avoid annoying emails by putting them on a blacklist, and it just pops them in a specific folder automatically for you on Gmail. For me, Mailman belongs in the super category. And that's because, like I said, I use it every day. It does what it says it will. I haven't had any bugs or issues with it. And yes, I think that it's a pretty simple app, but it also just does what it says it's going to do. So that's why I like it. The next app is another one for the web developers. I'm sorry, I have quite a few in here for web developers, but that's because that's what I do on a regular basis. So a lot of these are going to be geared towards front-end developers and people that use like WordPress and things like that. But this next one's called InTab, and InTab allows you to click anywhere on a web page and get the CSS selector, and then you can actually change what the page looks like visually with some basic sliders. So it's a pretty neat tool. I really like it for specific situations where I'm having a hard time finding what the target class or ID is, basically the CSS selector for a specific page element. And it's come in handy quite a few times. It's also good for the other developers on our team who might not understand CSS as well, or may have not understood CSS in the past. And it allows people to learn CSS in an interesting way. And it's a lot quicker sometimes than just searching up how to write the CSS on your own. Just lets you pick a target, change the styling right here. You can see it all happen visually, and then you can copy the code. The one thing I will say about this one is, unfortunately, it can get kind of annoying. The Chrome extension I actually have to delete off of my browser when I'm not using this one, and I have to reinstall it every time that I want to use it because it's just that annoying. Like, they need to figure out a better way to integrate it into the browser without it being so in your face. And I also feel like I could probably learn the controls for it a bit better, but it seems like it just kind of sticks around on your browser after you use it, and it's like hard to get rid of. It's popping up when you don't want it to. So that's my only gripe with this one. It works really well when you want to use it, but sometimes it's popping up when I don't want to use it. InTab is a pretty good application, and for me, it gets a good. I feel like that's where it belongs. And this is just my opinion, of course. Some people might use this a lot more, but I don't use it a whole lot. When I do use it, it's come in handy a couple of times. This next tool is one that we've used over here on Productive Dude. And this is actually one that I had to ask my editor's opinion on because I actually purchased this so that it could speed up his editing workflow. And this app is called Timebolt. So Timebolt is essentially a software that cuts out all of the blank spaces, like the long pauses in videos, and it cuts out all of the unnecessary time that gets wasted when you're editing a video and cutting a long video. And I had to ask his opinion on this one. Now, here it says that it allows any duration, any size, and it's 4K compatible. You're allowed to edit on your desktop with no uploading, so it's not like a web app, which is kind of nice. You just download it and then you can use it on your computer. And there's all kinds of great features that you can see here. Just really takes the time out of cutting around lots of pauses and long bits of silence in a video when you're editing it. When I asked my editor's opinion on this one, he said that it's good for simple videos if you need some cutting. He said that it wasn't as good for long videos, but as I had read on there, it sounds like you can do any duration of video. So it must just take a while to render, or maybe it was timing out or something like that. I will say, and he had attested to the fact that the creators are really good people. They're really personable, and they take their time to work with you when using Timebolt, and they really care about your feedback. And overall, I had to ask him for his rating. He rated it a good. This next app on our list is called Snap Downloader, and this makes it super easy to download videos from YouTube. So I had this old YouTube channel and I wanted to download a bunch of videos off of it. So this was kind of an issue because there are lots of different ways that you can download your videos off of YouTube, but this worked out a lot quicker and it was a lot easier to download all of those. So as I said, this is called Snap Downloader, and it works with Windows and Mac. As they say here, it's an alternative to YouTube Studio because YouTube does allow you to download your videos. It's just not as quick and easy. And this is a simple desktop app that allows you to download in any quality that you want and any output format. It also says that it supports more than 900 websites. So you want to download videos, just be careful that you're not getting into copyright territory. I was only using this for my own personal videos, but it says that you can download videos from YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, and Vimeo. If you guys can't tell already, I'm a big fan of the apps that just do exactly what they say they're going to do, and they do it well. And that's why Snap Downloader gets a super rating. You know, it's not something that we use every single day, but it's definitely something that I know I can always rely on and go back to if I need to download any YouTube videos. And I downloaded a ton of videos from one of my old YouTube channels using Snap Downloader so that I had a copy of them that I could always reference back to, because I actually wanted to delete them off that old channel. So it's nice that I always have them, and I know that they're not hosted somewhere on somebody else's platform, and I can basically reference them because they had a lot of sentimental value to me. This next one is not to be found on AppSumo anymore. Usually if they have the deal sold out, they'll at least still have the landing page up, and they'll just say that it's sold out. You know, you can't access it anymore. But I couldn't find this one on AppSumo anymore. So I don't know what happened, but it's not there. And this next app is CheatLayer. So this is basically a tool that allows you to interface with your browser and create code visually. So it allows you to automate things and create your own personal pieces of software. It allows you to scrape from different websites. It allows you to do all sorts of cool things. And one of the things that I like about these guys is they're really trying to bring coding to everyone, right? It's a true no-code solution. And the other reason that I picked it up is because you can create your own white label Chrome extensions, meaning you can build Chrome extensions that do cool different browser automations, and then you can resell those to other people. So this is a great tool. It can save you time. There's endless amount of features. I couldn't even go over all of them. And I'm just glad that I picked up this lifetime deal while it was still around. The other thing that I will say about CheatLayer is they have a great support staff. That's one of the things that stood out to me more than any other software that I've purchased on AppSumo. They were accommodating and they wanted to hold your hand and help teach you the software when you first purchased it, which is nice because it is a little bit scrappy and it's kind of hard to get started with, to be honest. If you were just looking at it and you didn't have any guides or documentation, or you didn't have an onboarding call. But after that onboarding call, I felt sure that I made the right decision in purchasing CheatLayer. Now, although this software was somewhat hard to get started with, I'm still going to give it a great, because I think it's just such a powerful software, and I think it's really cool and unique and ambitious what they're doing. This next software is one that we use quite a bit with web development, and it's one that I'm proud to say that I spent $100 on, and that is KillerPlayer. So it says right in the title that it's a Wistia alternative. Now, Wistia is a platform that charges, I believe, $99 per month to do something very similar. And what you can do is basically upload your videos to this and then embed them and customize the look of the player. As you can see here, they have a yellow player. Let me scroll down here and see if I can show you guys some of the other players that they have. Yeah, so as you can see, there's all kinds of different custom looks that you can get with these players. And some of them have like full screen options, sound toggle. You can change from HD to non-HD if you want to. They have a speed up version if you want to speed up your player. You can change the play button in the middle and how that appears. And what I used to use was Vimeo, or I would just embed normal YouTube videos. But now I just use this because you can upload a YouTube video and then you can actually just drop the link in KillerPlayer, and it will basically do away with the need for a video hosting service, because you can upload your videos unlisted to YouTube for free. And then KillerPlayer is going to go ahead and turn around and customize that player, make it look however you want with all the features that you need for a video player. So if you're a course creator, you're trying to embed videos on a website, you're doing something like that, KillerPlayer is a no-brainer, and this is one that I would pick up before it's gone. It looks like it's still available, but if you're not going to use it, if you're not like a web developer and you don't need your videos to look a certain way in the browser when people are looking at them, then you can always just embed a normal YouTube video and it will look fine. It's just that they overlay all this stuff on there, like the YouTube logo and other suggested videos, and you can't really customize the look and the color of it. So KillerPlayer is one that I really love, but it's probably not necessary for the average user. For me, KillerPlayer belongs in the super category. It was kind of expensive, but it saved me a ton of money in the long run because I didn't have to pay monthly subscriptions for other tools that did pretty much the same thing. Now, let's talk about Email Badge. This is a software that allows you to quickly and easily create a nice email signature that you can pop below your emails. And this is one that I set my mom up with, as well as my girlfriend, for their jobs. And it just makes that nice professional looking email signature look custom to you. Now, this is another AppSumo original. This is probably not as good as Tidycal in my opinion. And they have a few different plans down here, but they all really are the same thing. They just offer more signatures as you go up the license tier. And this one was perfect because I had one seat for my mom, one seat for my girlfriend, and then one seat for me. And I thought that, license tier 1, $19, you can get some awesome looking custom email signatures. That was totally worth it. I wish that I could have went a little bit more in depth with customizing using this tool, but it's really just a simple tool and it allows you to create those signatures. I know there's other ways to do it. So the thing is like, you don't really need to spend money on something like this. It did what it said it was going to do, but it didn't exceed my expectations. So it's somewhere in that good to average range, I think. Yeah, you know what? I think I'm going to put this one in average. I was thinking good, but it really isn't something that I would say you really need to spend money for. I think if you go on YouTube and you look around, there's probably tutorials for how to set up an email signature that are a little bit more scrappy. If you're not super tech savvy, which if you aren't tech savvy, I don't know how you're still watching this video, but congrats to you for sticking through. But if you're not super tech savvy, this might be a good option or a good route for creating an email signature. This next tool is called Tab Extend, and I've used this one pretty extensively. It was my go-to bookmark manager for a little while until I created a bookmark manager in Notion. And I thought it was really clean and nice. It was a good way to open up my browser, and it was a nice way to stay focused because I could put all of my websites that I wanted to see in one area. It also has an option to take quick notes or have a small to-do list like you can see here. And overall, it's a pretty good software. I more so had it just because I liked the look and feel of it. I liked how it worked. But personally, I would say you don't really need a tool like this. It's kind of just a nice to have if you like their UI. And to spend $60 on it, yes, it's a one-time purchase, but I don't know that you need to spend that much money on a bookmark software when you can create something similar to this in Notion for pretty much free. One thing that is nice is they have this active tabs column over here, which shows all of your tabs that you currently have open, and you can drag them into your lists very seamlessly. So that is something that you can't really get in some other bookmark softwares. But really, this one's just a nice to have. It's something that I used for a little while, and I don't really use it that much anymore. I made a full walkthrough of this one as well, so you can check out the link to that in the upper right-hand corner of this video if you want to see a more in-depth review on it. You can still pick this one up. It's still available on AppSumo. For me, Tab Extend belongs in the good category. The next tool that we're going to take a look at here is called WP Force SSL. So this is a very niche tool. Only web developers will really understand what SSL is and what it does. But this is one of those tools that if you are a web developer, the one-time purchase of $49 is well worth it. There are other tools out there that charge a couple $100 a year for this same service. And this basically just tells WordPress to redirect your users to the SSL version of your website or the secure version, the HTTPS version of your website. This isn't only ideal, this is necessary if you're developing websites in WordPress. And I was paying for an app before this that did pretty much everything here. So this tool is pretty straightforward. If you're someone who develops websites, it's a no-brainer. If you're not, then you probably won't really understand what this tool does. You might be starting to see a trend here. I like simple tools that do what they say they're going to do and that I use every time and they just work. So for me, WP Force SSL gets a super. The next app is called TimeSync. You'll notice that I really do like testing out different booking applications that allow you to quickly and easily have people book in a meeting with you. A lot of them do the same thing, but I particularly liked the way that this one looked. I feel like it has a few more features than Tidycal, but it's also a lot pricier than Tidycal. So I will say that this is the one that I am currently using for a lot of my businesses, but it's definitely not necessary for a lot of people to use. I would just say for the most part, most of you are probably just going to want to go with Tidycal because Tidycal has like 90% of the features that this does, but I like the customized email reminders that this has, and I also like the look of it just a little bit better. I think it looks a little bit nicer than Tidycal. But same thing, allows unlimited calendar connections, automatic Zoom call integration, allows you to collect payments through Stripe and PayPal. The customizable email reminders was what really sold me on this one. And then you also don't have any TimeSync branding on it, which is different from Tidycal in that sense. Tidycal does have some limited branding on it. Now I put Tidycal in super, and for some reason I feel like putting this one in great. Like, I'm going to put it in super, but I think that it's just a little bit less user-friendly and it's a little bit too much to pay if you don't really care about having the branding removed and you don't really care about having the customizable reminder emails. Because Tidycal does have reminder emails. They just aren't as custom as they are in this software here. So I don't know, for practicality's sake, Tidycal works just as good, but for me and for people who are nitpicky about their calendar app, which probably isn't a huge group of people, for me and those people though, it's going to go in super. The next tool that we're taking a look at is BackgroundCut. Now, BackgroundCut is a very simple tool. It does one thing very well, just as some of these other apps that I've reviewed do, and that is to remove the backgrounds from photos. And as you can see, it does a really good job in this photo here. You can even see that it gets around this guy's hair pretty well. As you can see, it also offers lifetime access and gives you unlimited high resolution background removals. And yes, you can do this in something like Photoshop, but it does take a lot more time than just using this simple tool. Now, I know there's tons of alternatives out there, and as I said earlier in this video, there is the option of just using the iPhone, which has this built in natively now. But to have this on your computer and to have it for a lifetime deal, I feel like this is just a good thing to pick up if you are a designer or if you do anything online where you need to remove a background. This is something that we use quite a bit. This is an amazing tool, and I'm tempted to put it up here in the super category, but considering it's a little bit pricey for just being that singular feature, I think I have to keep it in great for now, especially looking at the other apps that I put in great. I think this one just belongs here in great, but it is an amazing app, and if you do a lot of background cutting, this is one of the most accurate apps I've been able to find for doing that. The next app that we're looking at is called Poda, and Poda makes it easier to create beautiful mind maps. This is also good for project planning, so if you wanted to plan your entire year, I think this would be a good app to do so, just to give you a nice overview of your year or something like that. Poda comes in at a $49 one-time purchase, and it's a very simple yet beautiful application that does a lot of the same things that something like Notion or Miro or Trello would do, but it brings it all into one, and it just does these mind maps super well. And as you can see, there's all kinds of different ways you can view these. You can view them in terms of like a Kanban board, or you can view them as a mind mapping tree, or you can view individual pages like you see over here, and it looks almost just like a Notion page. This is definitely a vanity application, and I really just got it because I'm a sucker for good UI. But to be honest, if you want to create nice mind maps for your team or for your clients, or you just want to create something that looks nice and feels nice to use, then Poda is a great application for that. They have a simple plan, and as you add codes, you can create more workspaces. But with one workspace, you have unlimited users, unlimited projects, and unlimited nodes. And they also have 10 gigabytes of storage that you get with this if you do want to put attachments in there or anything like that. I feel like this app belongs somewhere between great and good, but I'm going to put it in good because I don't use it a whole lot, to be honest. I mean, as nice as it is and as good as it looks, it might not really be worth it if you have other tools at your disposal like Notion or Miro. You can get the same sort of features out of a lot of free applications, but if you want something that you can use that's like dedicated for planning or big picture, then this is a good way to do it. Next, we're actually going to be looking at a web browser that's built specifically for web designers. And this tool is called Blisk. I can't tell you how many times we've been working on a website and we've had to test it hundreds of times on multiple different screens. And Blisk has been a lifesaver because it shows you multiple screen sizes within a single window. As you can see here, it's loading in an iPhone 13 and a Chrome desktop, and it actually will give you the dimensions of what browser you're looking at. Oftentimes when you're doing website design, it has to be responsive on multiple screens, and sometimes you have bugs on one device that don't show up on another. So this is a really useful way to just test out how it's looking on all types of different screens side by side. As you click through the website, it will even change on the other screens that you have in that test window. Here's another look showing all the different iPhone 12 sizes that you can pull in at once and how they change. It's not a huge change, but sometimes, you know, you want to get the padding on the text just right on the side of it, especially if you're offering web design as a professional service. They have a huge library of devices, as you can see here. And they also have some great dev tools that help you figure out where a selector is and look through the code for that specific website. They've got a few different license tiers here, and they're all pretty similar. They just give you more users as you step up the license tiers. Another nice thing about Blisk is they allow you to take screenshots of those different screen sizes. So if you wanted to create some mock-ups, it's super easy now, easier than ever. And they also have a native screen recorder, which I didn't know about, but that's pretty cool. Blisk is a tool that I would consider a tool for professionals. You know, if you are a professional web developer, then it's definitely a good tool to have your hands on. This is an amazing tool, and to me, it belongs in the S tier, super. So we're gonna drag that up to super here. I can't tell you how much money I've spent on form applications and plugins for WordPress and things like that over the years. This one is going to help you save money if you're trying to intake a lot of information through forms. And this app is called GoZen. It allows you to build unlimited online forms, surveys, and quizzes. And this is a tool that's very similar to Typeform. If you've heard of Typeform, you know that this is a very premium, high-end form builder. And just to give you an idea, Typeform costs $25 per month, but it's billed annually, and you get 100 responses per month with this basic plan. And it only goes up from there. If you wanted to pay for it monthly, it would be about $30 per month for that 100 responses. In comparison, you'll notice that the cheapest version of GoZen Forms is $69 one time, but this is going to give you 5,000 responses per month. If you wanted to go up to the license tier 3, you can get unlimited responses. If you were already using Typeform, I would compare the features because maybe Typeform does have something that this doesn't, but I feel that they're pretty similar. And honestly, I think that GoZen has even more features than Typeform. They have integrations with Stripe, Google Sheets, MailChimp, all of these other ones here, and even Zapier, so you can pretty much connect it to anything. They have custom webhooks, custom themes, multi-layout forms. This is nice. They have question branching and logic jumps so that if somebody answers a question a specific way, they get sent down a different path or they get a different next question than the other people will. Really, the list of features goes on here, and I really enjoyed using GoZen. One of the other things that I like about it is that it allows you to share and embed your forms on different platforms. GoZen Forms also allows you to share this by embedding it in your own website. So if you have a landing page and you want to have a nice form on there, then this is a great option for you. If you're a WordPress web developer and you want custom CSS on your forms, GoZen Forms might not be enough. But if you don't really care about custom CSS, they still have really good styling options, and they have form logic, they have Zapier, they can do a whole lot. And like I said, if you don't care about the custom CSS feature of your forms and you don't need like any crazy form features, then GoZen Forms is definitely a go-to pick for me when it comes to forms. I would put this in the great tier. The reason that I didn't put it in super is because I like to use WordPress forms, options like Gravity Forms, mainly Gravity Forms. Honestly, I'd say Gravity Forms is the only thing that beats GoZen Forms for me, or Forminator, and those are both WordPress plugins. So if you're not like a WordPress developer, then it probably won't matter to you, and GoZen Forms would be more than enough. Next up, we have Super Machine. Now, Super Machine is an AI tool that allows you to enter a simple prompt and it will generate an AI created image for you. So this is getting into futuristic territory. The fact that we're seeing this type of technology is just mind-blowing to me, especially that they're making it so widely available. This was created using the OpenAI system and the same program that essentially runs DALL-E 2. I feel like DALL-E 2 is still a little bit better than Super Machine from my experience using it. And honestly, DALL-E 2 isn't even that expensive. They also have some credits that you can get for free. So Super Machine is great if you're looking for quantity over quality, I think, and if you're wanting to save a little bit of money. But to be honest with you guys, I've tried this against DALL-E 2, and I feel like DALL-E 2 is just a little bit better. They do have this nice feature for native upscaling, which turns the images into HD images. And they also have a facial enhancer, which I found didn't work that well for me. Honestly, this is a great tool, but it kind of just feels like, you know, you might as well go with DALL-E 2, and that is just my opinion. I figured DALL-E 2 would be way more expensive, but I think they offer quite a few free credits on a monthly basis, and then buying credits on DALL-E 2 isn't really that expensive. So I won't probably be using Super Machine a whole lot, but it is nice that I picked up this lifetime deal in case I don't want to pay for DALL-E 2 credits in the future. And I still think that this tool does a pretty good job of generating images. They both use the same technology, but I don't know, DALL-E 2 is kind of just the original, and I prefer it so far. For me, when I first came across Super Machine, it was definitely in great or super territory, but after comparing it to DALL-E 2, I feel that it just belongs in good. And to be honest, they may improve things. So that is the beauty of getting a lifetime deal with AppSumo, is all of these guys could move around here. And, you know, someday maybe they'll all be in super territory. And that's why I ended up picking up a lot of these deals, because I believed in the founders, what they were saying, what they had in mind for their softwares. And they're all still actively working on these softwares for the most part, from what I have seen. Now we move on to the final app, and that app is called Komodo Dex. Now I just made a full video talking about why I switched from Loom to Komodo Dex, and Loom is basically a screen recording tool that allows you to record your screen within your browser very quickly and easily, just a few clicks, and then you can quickly share that link with somebody else. Now, Loom is an amazing tool. I love it. I've used it for a couple years, and I've spent a couple $100s to keep my subscription alive. But when I found out what Komodo Dex could do, it was just a no-brainer to switch, and I've had to actually offload all of my old Loom videos now and completely switch to Komodo Dex. It's just a no-brainer. So if you guys are lucky enough to get your hands on this one, I recommend you do. I'm going to scroll down to their plans here. They have a few plans that you can choose from. They offer asynchronous video recording, very similar to Loom. You're able to add commentary to sections of the screen and segments of the video, which this feature I don't believe Loom has. So that's an addition on top of the features that I was already using over there. You can get a good idea of video engagement. They give you some analytics there. You can also create guides. I've gone over a tool called Scribe, and they offer this sort of guide creation process. And I think Scribe does the guide creation process a little bit better, but it is nice that you can create these screenshot guides that walk users through how to do something within your browser. So that is a nice add-on as well. They also offer video editing. Another nice feature is you can talk over previously recorded voices. So if you have something you want to dub in or you want to say something differently, that is an option. And they allow you to share instantly. Another feature that they don't have listed here is they even allow you to block out different elements of your screen before you start recording or during recording. You can actually just drag your mouse over a specific area using their sensor tool or their blur tool. I forget what it's called. But that's another thing that I wasn't able to get with the plan that I had for Loom. Now, I was paying $96 a year for Loom, and it basically does everything that Komodo Dex is doing, but Komodo Dex just came in and added a few more features on top of that. And I paid a one-time fee of $19, so that's why I'm going to be switching off. And honestly, guys, this is one of the better deals that I have picked up over here on AppSumo. It's going to save a bunch of money, and it's also just as good or better, in my opinion, so far from what I've used it for. If you want to add more users, you can go up a license tier. So you can go all the way up to 50 users if you have a large team for only $209. One thing that I see in the comments here is that people are asking if they're planning on adding a desktop app. That is something that I think would be nice because Loom does have a nice desktop app and it doesn't look like these guys have it yet. Some people might say that Loom also feels like a bit more of a polished product, but to me, honestly, Komodo Dex does pretty much everything I need it to. There weren't any errors that I've run into so far, and I've recorded a few videos using it. And for me, this one saves me quite a bit of money, so I'm going to be putting it in the super tier. I think that's where this one belongs, and hopefully they continue to add on to it and improve it as we go. So guys, this concludes my AppSumo tier list. I will have links to all of these in the description below. Remember, they are affiliate links, so please understand that I will receive a small kickback if you guys do decide to purchase using one of my links. I appreciate you watching all the way to the end. And if you want to see more videos like this, comment below and let me know so that I'm motivated to make more videos like this. Also, subscribe to stay updated with my content. Make sure to hit the post notification bell as well. And if you enjoyed this video, please like it for the YouTube algorithm. All right, we'll see you guys in the next one.